I cheated on my boyfriend and want to fix things. First of all, I know what I did was wrong and there's no excuse for what I did. I feel really bad about this. I've been together with my boyfriend for 5 years now, living together for 3 years, everything is nice, but I'm not that emotional and cuddly person. As long as you respect me I'm good. I don't need too much affection or romance. We share the same values and visions in life. We like to think of ourselves as being a power couple. So, I went on a work trip for 1 week abroad, and excited and curious about the culture of the country I went out with colleagues after work, and on the second night I went to the hotel's bar to have a drink and this very charming and handsome guy approached me. The rest is history. I caved in and did the unthinkable, during the whole trip, and was trying to hide it as much as possible from my boyfriend. It felt at that moment exciting, wrong but exciting. There's no excuse for what I did. The only thing I can think of was that I didn't have much luck with guys before, especially handsome ones, and in the last few years I've been taking good care of myself, eating healthy, going to the gym, so now I get a lot of attention, from co-workers, friends, etc., which is kinda nice, but also pretty new to me, so I guess that's one of the reason for doing it, a moment of weakness which lead to a few nights. The problem is after I came back, I couldn't look at my boyfriend the same way. That experience really changed me. I'm confused. How could I do this to my boyfriend if we match so well and I love him? Is this still love? Every time I think of it I'm getting sad and start crying, the guilt, remorse, but I can't tell him. If I tell him he won't forgive me, as we discussed about these situations before. We talked after I came back about our relationship, that we're a great match, it's just we've been slacking on spicing things up, going out on dates, doing what we used to do as a new couple, so we tried doing that, but it doesn't feel right anymore. He's such a sweet guy, handsome, loving, but when I look at him I feel remorse and guilt. I don't know if I feel love anymore. I'm not good with feelings and identifying and describing them. We went out in the next couple of weeks on dates and weekend getaways. Probably it's in my mind because of the experience I had. I don't get excited anymore with him. I decided to take some space and move out for a couple of weeks, to think about this. He understood it after we talked in details about it. It's been 2 weeks since then, and every time I think of him I feel sad and sorry, and don't know how I'll feel when we're going to meet again. Will I be able to continue with him or not? I do hope so, cause we shared so many great memories together. Can't understand how could I be so foolish and destroy everything. Is the relationship doomed? Any advice on how could I get over this guilt and continue our relationship happily? I can't tell him I cheated. That would destroy him because his father also cheated on his mother and he hates his guts, so if I ever decide to end it, I would need to use a different excuse. I wouldn't want to hurt him more than I'm already doing it or more than the actual breakup would hurt him, if that makes sense. Comment. Your guilt will forever eat at you and you will forever see him differently. I honestly feel bad for him. He sounds like he loves and cares about you. He seems open to communication and fixing small problems. Although, you on the other hand did something you can't come back from and you know that. You don't get excited because you had adrenaline cheating on your partner. He deserves to know, and you're being extremely selfish. You claim to love him, but you still think only about yourself. Nothing has changed. He deserves to make a decision whether he even wants to stay with you. Your relationship is over. It was over when you threw it all away on that work trip. If your boyfriend is that good of a person, then break up with him so he can find someone to be with that will respect him and build a life with. He needs to know because most likely this won't be the last time this happens. Just wait until the next work trip. Well, this is such a lie. If you were ever concerned about his feelings, you'd never have cheated. How convenient that you care so much for his well-being now, after the fact, that you'd opt to spare him the truth. You refuse to tell him in order to save yourself from the consequences of your own actions. You're afraid to tell him not because it would hurt him, but because you know you'll be hated by him. The best thing to do would be to come clean because the relationship is already broken, evidenced by how you don't even live with him right now because of the issues this has already caused. The only way you can reconcile is if he knows the whole truth and then forgives you. The trust will never recover, but if he forgives you, it will be the only saving grace for this relationship. Tell him the truth, do not lie to him. Also, the grass isn't always green on the outside. What you are feeling is lust. Once you leave him, you gonna end up regretting it like a lot of people do. Truest me on that. You are 37, most likely just missing out on some excitement in the relationship. If you leave him, you gonna have to settle for someone who may not be as good as you are. I'm sure you are still good looking, but the dating world is hard. Next story 2. Ghosted and ignored by my fiancé of 2 years. Today my fiancé of almost 2 years broke up with me because he thinks I try to fight with him too much and send him exaggerated messages. He ghosted me because I sent him a message telling him I want him to show me more love and affection, as I don't feel that from him currently. He doesn't do much for me at all. I am the one who arranges and pays for our dates. He's happy to just stand somewhere. I'm the one who messages and calls him first majority of the time. He doesn't compliment me. He's not verbally affectionate, as he says it doesn't make him feel masculine. He's okay to not talk the entire day without message or call till nighttime if he's at work. I just asked him for more love and I said he was nonchalant, whereas I was very full on, and it wasn't fair the amount of love I was receiving. I guess he took that as an insult because from then on he ignored me completely. He ignored all my calls and messages and even cut the call when he heard my voice calling from another number. The thing is, I don't think I'm an argumentative person. I don't think I fight with or argue for no reason. It's usually because there is a problem at hand, and I don't think I communicate my problems to him in a bad way. He says I always argue with him even when I'm trying to discuss an issue. He thinks I'm trying to fight. I've tried to criticize him myself, but I can't see it. I don't know how me asking for more attention warrants being ghosted in a long-term relationship. I literally had to beg him to tell me why he ghosted me randomly. I don't know how I will get over this. He was my first everything and I loved him so much. I can't understand how he can tell me he loved me and promise me marriage just to leave me so cruelly because he thinks I fight with him too much. I feel like I meant nothing to him. How can I explain to him I don't want to fight and never wanted to? What are the chances he will regret what he's done and come back? Comment. My friend was ghosted by her fiancé a few weeks before the wedding, but forgave him and married him anyway. Turned out he had spent the week trying to reconnect with an ex, but failed and so settled for my friend. She wasted 30 years on him. Never being loved her whole life. Don't settle for someone who isn't totally and head over heels in love with you. I want him to show me more love and affection, as I don't feel that from him currently. He doesn't do much for me at all. I am the one who arranges and pays for our dates. He's happy to just stand somewhere. I'm the one who messages and calls him first majority of the time. He doesn't compliment me. He's not verbally affectionate, as he says it doesn't make him feel masculine. He's okay to not talk the entire day without message or call till nighttime if he's at work. Good riddance to him. Move on to someone better. He wants someone who wants less from him. It is pretty simple. He is who he is. You didn't like it. He doesn't plan to change himself for you. He could have stayed, pretended to change, married you, then went back his old ways and screwed you over. He knew it wouldn't work. He left. He did you a favor. Next story 3. Is my boyfriend emotionally cheating on me? My boyfriend and I have been together for a year. He's always had girlfriends, so I tried not to let it bother me at first because they were in his life before me. At the start of our relationship it wasn't a huge problem. A couple of months in though, he left his girl best friend on read while hanging out with me and she flipped out. She got mad that he wasn't spending more time with her, didn't text back right away, and was hanging out with me. She started ghosting him, and he started sulking and begging for her attention. Next their friendship ended, but it seemed a lot more like a breakup. They unfollowed each other on social media, cut all contact, interactions with mutual friends became awkward. As far as I know, all because he spent more time with me than her. Then, he had a new girl best friend. And that was fine too. I go to sleep pretty early and sometimes he would go straight from hanging out to me to hanging out with her at like 10 p.m. at night, but in a public setting. I didn't find this out until a couple of months in. I saw that on her Instagram she has a highlight called Lovers and the first picture is a picture of him, the rest are pictures of girls who I assume are her other best friends. She moved away a couple of weeks ago, and he got really sad. Like he was nearly in mourning. He didn't want to see me because he was sad about her leaving. He wanted to hang out with all of his mutual friends with her and celebrate her and basically ignored me for several days. He's texting another girl now. She was his friend before, from high school, like his last two best friends, but I'm worried he wants her to be his new best friend. It's starting to be a little much. Is this emotional cheating? Comment. Emotional cheating is cheating without taking their clothes off. Are these his friends who happen to have vaginas and you are being a controlling creep, or are they sexting and making plans to go on vacations without you? I have close friends who are female and this isn't how it works. There are clearly no boundaries with him. Leaving after you go to bed and not telling you is wrong on many levels. Does he ever invite you to hang out with his friends? You could insist on meeting and going out with him and his friends. When he gets awkward and uncomfortable, you can draw your line in the sand. It's okay to have friends, but that's not what he's doing.